In the distant future, in a galaxy ruled by noble houses, the story of House Atreides begins. Duke Leto Atreides, a wise and noble ruler, is ordered by Emperor Shaddam to take the throne on the desolate planet of Arrakis, also known as Dune, a planet teeming with spice, a unique resource necessary for space travel and life extension, is the object of a struggle between houses seeking power over this valuable substance. Duke Leto Atreides arrives on Arrakis with his son Paul and concubine Jessica. Paul is a young man with extraordinary powers that he doesn't always realize. Jessica, as a member of the Bene Gesserit secret society, teaches Paul skills that will help him meet the challenges that await them on the new planet. She raises him in the spirit of the Bene Gesserit, giving him important skills to make him a strong leader. However, her decision to give birth to a son instead of a daughter, according to the sorority's plan, causes her confusion. Arriving on Arrakis, Duke and his family face many challenges. Arrakis is not just a desert. It is a world with harsh conditions where water is worth its weight in gold. The locals, the Fremen, live in harsh conditions and have a deep knowledge of the desert that they are in no hurry to share with the aliens. Paul realizes that he is in for a challenge and his life will depend on his ability to adapt to this harsh world. It soon becomes clear that House Harkonnen, the Atreides' predecessors on Arrakis, have no intention of surrendering without a fight. Their chief fighter, the brutal and cunning Baron Harkonnen, weaves complex intrigues to overthrow Duke Leto and regain power. Paul senses treachery in the atmosphere, but his training and intuition help him see that not all is as it seems at first glance. By the time the Atreides' home begins to settle on Arrakis, it becomes clear that their presence here is only a matter of time. Leto wants to establish relations with the Fremen, who may prove to be valuable allies in the coming struggle. He seeks to learn their culture and customs in order to gain their trust. Paul, with his gift of foresight, senses the importance of these connections, but they also plunge him into deep inner reflection about who he is and what his destiny is. Meanwhile, Jessica meets the local Fremen leaders, who look at her with suspicion. They don't believe that House Atreides is capable of caring for them and the planet. Paul observes their interactions and begins to realize that his mother, despite her intentions, also finds herself in a difficult situation. She struggles to balance her duty to her sisterhood with her love for her son. When the Harkonnen house suffers an unexpected blow, the situation becomes critical. Paul and Jessica are miraculously saved when the Atreides' house is trapped. Paul witnesses the brutal actions of the Harkonnens as his father is captured and their loyal subjects are endangered. At this point, Paul realizes that his childhood is over. He begins to realize that he has abilities that he must develop in order to survive and protect those he loves. With the help of the Fremen, Paul and Jessica begin a new life in the desert. They face threats that lurk in the sands, such as giant worms guarding the spice. Paul begins to learn the survival tactics of the Fremen, their habits and ways of hunting. He also meets Chani, a Fremen woman with whom he develops a deep relationship. Chani becomes his friend and ally, and a special bond of mutual understanding and respect develops between them. Paul gradually finds his place among the Fremen. He becomes their protector and leader, teaching them strategies to fight House Harkonnen. His foresight becomes clearer as he sees his options and future battles. Paul begins to feel that his destiny is not only his personal life, but the destiny of the entire nation. One day, Paul makes the decision to call the Fremen to action. He gathers his new friends and allies to end the tyranny of House Harkonnen. This is not just a power struggle, but a battle for freedom and justice. Paul speaks to the Fremen, inspiring them to fight, and there is confidence and determination in his words. Paul fights on the side of the Fremen, leading them to victory. He shows his leadership skills by using his abilities and knowledge to predict the enemy's movements. Paul becomes a symbol of hope for the Fremen, and they begin to believe in their strength. When the battle ends, Paul confronts Baron Harkonnen and his underlings. He realizes that this victory is not only a triumph over his enemies, but also the beginning of his new life. Paul becomes the new ruler of Arrakis, and his life changes dramatically. He takes responsibility for his people and realizes that now his fate is intertwined with the fate of the entire galaxy. But with new power comes new challenges. Paul realizes that his decisions will have consequences, and he must learn to balance his desires with the needs of his people. His inner turmoil becomes the foundation of his new existence. He is not just a king, but a man who realizes that his destiny has only just begun, and he must use his powers to create a better future for all who live on Arrakis.